Hey, welcome back to the TimeCatchApp channel where we talk about all things for consulting, freelancers, contractors of any size organization. Today I want to talk about the 5 things to avoid in your proposals. If you are running a consulting organization, most likely you will need to write proposals to get new work. Okay, now what do I mean by consulting organization? I mean an organization that works chiefly on project-based work. Someone asks for work for a particular project, you need to tell them what type of work you're going to do. Now, this is the process for most consultants, some contractors as well. Individual contractors tend not to do this as much because they get their work more through a job interview process. But if you're running something like a staffing solution or technical solution, then often, yes, you will have to write proposals as well. And the proposal stage is where you can mess up or where you can lose a lot of opportunities. And we don't want to do that. This is the reason I want to avoid some of these things, because you will lose opportunities by doing these things and you're not even going to be aware of why you lost it. Okay, now I have run several large consulting organizations and I have written hundreds of proposals. So I understand a little bit of what the process looks like and what good is and what bad is. In my last role, for instance, I more than doubled the wins for project work over the last 2 years following these principles. And you can do that too. You can win more work using these principles. The advantage to following them is that you will win a higher percentage of the work that you bid on. And over time, you're going to make more money and spend less effort writing your proposals. It's a win-win. It doesn't mean you're going to win every time. It does mean that you'll win a higher percentage over time. It's not a quick solution, though. I mean, you can implement it today, and I highly recommend you do implement it today. But it's going to take time. Okay, now, I also want you to stick to the end for a bonus tip. Plus, I'm also going to give you a free proposal checklist, yours just for asking for it. And I'll show you at the end of this video how you can get a hold of your own copy. Now, before we start, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to grow the channel and provide more content like this for you. Okay, now let's get started with the 5 things to avoid in your proposals. Number 1, I've seen this so many times, spelling the name of your clients wrongly. All right, there's nothing that exasperates clients more than that their name is spelled incorrectly. And I have seen this. I've seen this many times. Some clients will overlook it. Some clients will just look at you and say, well, if you can't get that right, what else will you mess up on? So make sure that the name is spelled correctly. And if you're going to put a logo in the proposal, which I do recommend, make sure you get their logo. Make sure it's the right thing. Don't just ask Gemini for it. Actually go to the website or from their request for proposal, take their logo. All right, number 2, spelling errors and bad grammar in general. There's nothing that's going to make you look unprofessional, not ready for this job, like having spelling errors or bad grammar in your proposal. So take the time to make sure that those are out of the system. They're not in there. You want to do a spell check, and it all looks very professional. Use the correct sentence structures and all those things. You don't want the customers thinking, this is not very professional. You want to come across as a professional. You know what you're doing. Number 3, do not propose solutions for problems that your clients do not have. I have seen this many times. I think you should do this. This is going to solve your problems. Like the customer said, but that's not what I'm asking for. I am asking for something else. So don't give them something that they don't want. You can suggest it. You can put it as an optional service. I just would not put it in as the go-to solution. even if you think it is better for them, because they are asking for what they think is best. And they may have other reasons for that, some things hiding in the background that you don't understand. So give them what they want. It's so much easier to sell what they're asking for than something else. Think if you go into a car dealership and it's like, I really want a Toyota Camry. And say, yeah, okay, that Toyota Camry is a fine car, but I think with your family size, you'd be much better off with the Ford Tacoma truck. It's like, but that's not what I asked for. I wanted a Camry. All right, so the sales guy that offers the Camry is going to have a much higher chance of winning than the guy who sells the Ford Tacoma, right? Of course, if you ask for a Ford Tacoma, then the Ford Tacoma person is going to win. So make sure you give them what they're actually asking for. I've seen this so many times. That brings us up to number 4. Actually give them something specific. Do not give them vague solutions. They will see through that, or they will not feel comfortable with that. They won't understand it. Customers are not going to buy something that they don't understand what they're getting. Don't give them vague solutions. Here's an example of that. I was talking to a customer one time. Customer asked for an AI solution for a problem. I'm like, okay, I can give you an AI solution. I had a colleague of mine develop a proposal for that. And it came back saying, we will use artificial intelligence to solve this problem. And it did not describe what the artificial intelligence solution was. It just said we're going to use artificial intelligence. Well, talk about a vague solution. What does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean large language model. It doesn't necessarily mean some sort of deep learning model. It doesn't mean a classification model. What does it mean? It could be any of those things. It's very vague. Needless to say, we did not win that work. When we did come in and we offered a specific solution, here's the name of the solution, this is how it works, this is the outputs you're going to get from this, and this is the type of information you can expect to get and why this information is better than what you're currently getting. Those are the types of work we actually won. So don't be vague. Be as specific as you can. Number 5. Do not overpromise what you can deliver. Sometimes it is tempting to do that, to overpromise. To say, you give us 5 weeks and we can give you a whole new system that's just going to solve all of your problems. Well, it may or may not. And it's going to take 2 years. Right? That's overpromising. That's not a good way of winning business and having loyal customers for life. Be realistic about this, right? You want them to come to you with the full knowledge of what they're going to get and confidence that they're going to get the high quality work on the schedule that they want. Oftentimes they can move their schedule around a little bit to accommodate you if it's realistic, right? And if it's going to be high quality and on budget, on time. Okay. So don't overpromise. Be realistic. Okay, a bonus tip. Be willing to make changes based on the client feedback. You're really looking for a partnership with the client. So let's start off in the beginning and say, well, here I'm going to give you a proposal. If you want to make some suggested changes to what you want, no problem, make the changes. I can reprice it. I can figure it out. We can make some modifications on that. Work with your clients. Talk to your clients. Make sure that there's a relationship piece. You're going to want this relationship to go on through the project and into the next project. You want them to be so happy with you that they will continue to employ you forever. So that is our goal. So again, be willing to make changes based on client feedback. Sometimes the clients will ask for something. You give them exactly what they asked for. They'll look at it and say, that doesn't really what I wanted. Let's make some changes. And because you put the optional services in, okay, those might be what I want more. It does happen at times. So again, be willing to make changes, be willing to work with a client, and just be adaptable. It always helps. People are always looking for adaptable. To get your free checklist, go to TimeCatchApp's contact page. You see that here on the screen, and fill in the information. Here an example, I got my name, I got my email address, and in the details, just indicate that you want your free proposal checklist. I will email you a PDF with a proposal checklist. It's 5 pages, lots of good information in there. You can check off your proposals going out to your clients. All right. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next.